We understand Steve Romo. You just saw a shot of Steven Romo. He is now at the scene. Steve, can you tell us what's it looking like from your vantage point?
Yeah, Gotti, as you can imagine, a chaotic situation. Some relief in the crowd getting that news that this suspected shooter has been neutralized. You can see that the traffic, though, is still closed on this block. We actually just saw some office workers who have been released from their building, many of them being told to shelter in place, now able to finally walk out, clearly in relief that they were able to leave their office building right now. So you mentioned just where this building is, you and Tom Winter. This is a massive building. It takes up this entire city block, the NFL and other major corporations working there. There's also a bank branch, just normal everyday people living their lives, and then all of a sudden they get the breaking news about this happening. So as you can see, we keep moving. So police officers, there are still more vehicles coming in and out from this investigation. We know the FBI, Pam Bondi just mentioning, more federal officials are located there as well, involved in this investigation to try to get this latest information. The crowds, though, there have been just talking to people, trying to make my way over here, hearing that there was a shooter on the loose in midtown Manhattan at this rush hour. You can imagine the type of panic that caused many people scared, trying to avoid the area. Others were trying to make their way over, either because they know someone who works there or they're just curious to know what exactly is going on. Again, there is a bit of relief knowing that that suspect has been neutralized, but still, people, of course, want answers as to why this happened, to know if this person was working alone. And a lot of those questions are the ones we're waiting for as well, Gotti.
And Stephen, as we're looking at that image of the shooter on his way into the building, do we have any word on whether there was a shooting on the street and then he made his way inside, or did all of the shooting happen inside of what we believe to be 345 Park Avenue?
Right, 345 Park Avenue, quite a ways down. They have us blocked off pretty far, Gotti. No information that we've been able to gather on the scene about a shooting on the street. We have heard that as well. Just talking to people briefly here, no one that I've been able to talk to was actually at that location at the time, and they couldn't speak to it. But it's another one of the many questions that people have.
And in terms of the people that you've been talking to, we've already seen on social media all kinds of confusion, a lot of, false information about other arrests that may have been made on the streets that were unrelated to what we're seeing at that building. But is there a lot of confusion among the people that you've been speaking with?
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to a woman as I was crossing the street here. She was telling me that she was asking me what was going on, if I knew, and saying that Twitter is a great, or X is a great use of information, getting information out. But she saw some information that she found out was not correct at that same time. And like we have so often now, there are people who are here to protest the NYPD as well, making it even more chaotic here for people who genuinely want to know what's going on in their neighborhood or in their workplace or with their coworkers, to know that they're safe, Gotti. Just it's a very chaotic situation.
Steven Romo, really appreciate the scene from the ground down there in midtown Manhattan.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or watch live on our YouTube channel.